President Trump, of course, canceled his scheduled trip to Poland so he could monitor the storm, which he did yesterday, both from Camp David and from his golf course in Virginia. And joining me now from FEMA headquarters here in Washington is the acting FEMA Administrator, Peter Gaynor. Administrator Gaynor, welcome to Meet the Press, sir.
Morning, Chuck. How are you?
I'm okay. Let me start with the difficulty of obviously preparing for this storm and the fact that we've now, I think, half the Atlantic coast at some point in time over the last 72 hours or in the next 48 has to prepare for this storm. How difficult has it been tracking this storm?
This storm has been particularly difficult, a lot of uncertainty. It's going to be a slow mover as we get close to the Florida coast. Again, the time is now for residents to really prepare, and that's kind of our message, to make sure that use the time that's available to you. It's going to impact Florida, it's going to impact Georgia and the Carolinas, and now is really the time to make those preparations and be aware of the conditions, changing conditions in this track in this storm.
You know, a lot of people are going to see these graphics that are now showing the modeling as if this storm is going to just barely touch the coast. Obviously, I'm guessing you have concern that people will let their guard down. How dangerous is this storm still, even if it just brushes, the coasts of northeast Florida and southeast Georgia?
Yeah, I think the mistake most people make is they follow that thin black line and think that that's the exact location the storm will be in. You really have to look at the cone of uncertainty. And if you look at that, it really covers the majority of Florida, and as you go north, great spots of Georgia and the Carolinas. We are not out of this just yet. You have to be aware of your surroundings. This storm will bring tropical storm force winds, hurricane force winds, surge, rain, all those things that are associated with a storm making landfall. And it may make landfall and it may stay off the coast, but the danger is there.
I'm just curious. A lot of people have become familiar now with the European model versus the American model. Can I ask an odd question? Are you concerned that the U.S. government's forecast models aren't the best out there, that the European model seems to always be about a step ahead of our models?
Well, I'm going to leave the grading of models to Noah, who really manages our forecast. They are a great team. They are embedded here with us 24/7. We get the best advice, the best decision support you can get. I'll let the scientists figure out what model is the best.
I'm going to ask you, you're in an acting role, you're the confirmed deputy. A permanent was nominated in February. That has been stalled in Congress. Are there things that limit do you feel as if your abilities are limited a bit because you're in an acting capacity, your deputy's in an acting capacity? How limiting is it?
No limits. When I took this job over from Mr. Long, there was minimal transition, minimal disruption, really no problems whatsoever. I have a great team behind me. There are about 200 FEMA employees behind me, but they represent 20,000 FEMA employees, battle-hardened, battle-tested from 2017-18. They are ready. We are ready to go.
I know you had said that the moving of money from FEMA's budget to the border fight was a small slice, that you have plenty of funds there. And look, the reality is we know Congress will always fill the coffer after a disaster. But does moving that money around, does that give you, does it hurt some preparation?
It doesn't hurt preparation, but I'm not going to say there's no risk. So we manage risk every day. Moving money has some risk, but we assess it to have minimal risk on our ongoing operations from 2017 and 18 and our preparation for this season, 2019. We assess that all the time, but right now we are ready. We have all the funds that we need.
You testified before Congress a couple of months ago, sort of in the aftermath, talking about a strategic plan for FEMA over the next 4 years. And you said three main goals for FEMA were build a culture of preparedness, number two, ready the nation for catastrophic disasters, and three, reduce the complexity of FEMA. It's number two I'm focused on. You said ready the nation for catastrophic disasters. When I read through your testimony there, it wasn't about mitigation, adaptation as much as it was about getting local authorities ready to deal with some of these things themselves. How much focus should we be on adaptation and mitigation?
Well, I think if you go back this past year, 2018, October 2018, Congress passed the DRRA, which allowed us to set aside 6% of all disaster costs for pre-disaster mitigation. Chuck, that we spent a lot of money post-disaster. We need to make that investment pre-disaster to reduce that risk, harden our infrastructure, and that law allows us to do that. So this year, we'll start using some of that money to reduce the risk and threat to infrastructure before disaster strikes. And that really is the model that we all embrace. All
right, Administrator Gaynor, I know this is the first hurricane where you've been in the seat there at FEMA. Good luck, sir, and here's hoping this thing gets out to sea in a hurry.
I concur with that. Thanks, Chuck.
Thanks very much. Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and then click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.